Hi theory students. We're going to continue our review of triads, and in this videocast we're going to look at shortcuts for recognizing qualities of triads, as well as looking at what happens when we use triads in specific major or minor keys. First, the shortcuts. Divide the triad roots into three distinct groups. Think of a GCF group, an EAD group, and B is all by itself. So what I mean is that when the root is either G or C or F, it's in this group. When the root is E or A or D, it's in that group. When the root is B, it's in that group. For major triads, if the root is in the GCF group, they all have the same accidentals. In the EAD group, the third of the chord is one accidental higher than the root or the fifth. And in the B group, both the third and the fifth are one accidental higher than the root. Let me show you what I mean. So here, for example, there's a G major chord. There's a C major chord. And there's an F major chord. Those are in the GCF group. And in fact, even if these were all sharp, that would be a G sharp major chord. If these were all flat, that would be a C flat major chord. In the GCF group, all the same accidentals, root third and fifth. Root third and fifth means that it's a major chord. In the EAD group, in order for it to be a major chord, the third needs to be one accidental higher than the other two notes. So in this case, the G is one accidental higher than the E or the B. The C is C sharp, one accidental higher than the A or the E naturals. And the F natural is one accidental higher than the A flat or D flat. Those are all major chords. And finally, all by itself in the last group, for B, it's a major chord when both the third and fifth are one accidental higher than the root. In minor triads, in the GCF group, it's a minor triad if the third of the chord is one accidental lower than the root or fifth. In the EAD group, it's minor if they're all the same accidentals. And in the B group, only the fifth is one accidental higher than the root and the third. In other words, we're lowering the third from the major triads to get to the minor triads. But to show you what this looks like, so now in the GCF group, so here, for example, the third of this chord, B natural, is one accidental lower than G sharp or D sharp. The third of this chord, E double flat, is one accidental lower than the C flat or G flat. And the third of this chord, A flat, is one accidental lower than the F or the C. In the EAD group, same accidental means minor. that's E minor, that's A minor, and it's D flat minor. When you compare them to the chords up above, you'll see that only the thirds have changed. In the B group, only the fifth is one accidental higher, so that would be a B minor chord. The diminished triad will be like the minor triads, but the fifth is lowered. So in the GCF group, both the third and fifth are one accidental lower than the root. In the EAD group, the fifth is one accidental lower. And in the B group, they will all have the same accidentals if it's a diminished triad. So here, G diminished, the third and fifth are one accidental lower than the root. C sharp diminished, and F diminished. In each of those cases, the third and fifth are one accidental lower than the root. In the EAD group, it's only the fifth that's lower than the other two. As these examples show. And B, in a group by itself, all the same accidentals, diminished triad. Augmented triads, GCF, the fifth is one accidental higher. The EAD, the third and fifth are one accidental higher. And for B augmented, the fifth is two accidentals higher and the third is one accidental higher. We'd better look at this to see what this looks like. So there's a G augmented, a C flat augmented, and an F augmented. Notice the fifth is one accidental higher than the others. EAD group, the third and the fifth are one accidental higher. And for B, here's an odd situation where we have both a flat and a sharp in the same triad. The F sharp is two accidentals higher than the flat we've got there, and the third is only one accidental higher, D natural compared to B flat. Now we're going to talk about triads and keys. If we stack the thirds using the notes in a particular key, it will give us 7 different chords, each with one of the scale degrees as the root. The actual chords may differ from key to key, but just as every major scale is constructed the same way, each major key gives the same kind of triads. So here, if we were in the key of D major, let's say, here's a D major scale. Let's build a triad on each scale degree. And now when we get back here, the D chord that I have here are the same notes as the D chord where I started. We label each chord in the following way. The scale degree number of the root determines a Roman numeral representing that number. So scale degree 1 will have a Roman numeral 1. The root of scale degree 2 will have a Roman numeral 2, etc. Major triads use, by convention, an uppercase Roman numeral. The minor triads, a lowercase. Diminished, a lowercase with a small circle. Augmented, an uppercase with a plus sign. Let's go back to our D major scale. D, F sharp, and A is major, Roman numeral 1. That's a major chord. E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, and now C sharp diminished, so we put the circle there. Those are the notes of the major key, each one of the scale degrees making a triad, and this order from there to there will be consistent for every major scale. Every 1 chord in major will be a major chord, every 2 chord will be a minor chord, etc. You could do the same for natural minor, and you'll find out that 1 will be a minor chord, 2 will be a diminished chord, 3 is major, 4 and 5 are minor, 6 and 7 are major. If we make a leading tone, as we do in the harmonic minor form, the only ones that change are the ones that involve scale degree 7. So 3 would be an augmented triad, but that hardly ever comes up in real music. Most importantly, 5 is a major chord, just as it is in the major mode. And 7 will be a diminished chord, just as it is in the major mode. Learn these patterns, and you'll know what the qualities are for each of the triads in every key. That's all for today.